always wanted to do that. Okay, who's going to kick this thing off? Awkward. Perfect. Okay, so everybody, thank you for coming. I am going to open up the chat. And so in real time, ask any question that you would like. This is more of a dialogue than I'm hoping a monologue. And this is going to be the fastest hour in real estate if we get this right. Now, if we don't get it right and you are bored to tears, then just go. You just go. It's so easy because it's on Zoom. So before we start, the KW legal team would like me to remind you that I am not a lawyer, nor am I an accountant, nor does anything I say hold any weight at all. As a matter of fact, you are advised to leave this Zoom immediately. Perfect. Now that we got that out of the way, we can move on. I want to talk all things real estate and wealth. And the reason I want to do it is because everyone that I talk to falls into one of two camps. Camp number one says, I'm having the greatest time of my life. I'm living my real estate dreams and I'm making all the money. Camp number two is there's a shift going on and everything is harder. And this has been the hardest 12 months of my life. They're both right. But I just want you to know that if you believe that there is a shift going on in interest rates and consumer behavior and all these things, and in that any way limits what you can accomplish this year, then that is a load of shift. It's just not real. And I want to go right at it. Because here's the deal. Getting through this year doesn't really make a lot of sense if you think about each year of your life for how valuable it is. Because one day follows the next, and I just want to tell you, I am now 43. I'm going to be turning 44. I've been at Keller Williams since I was 19. And here's what I know. I know that I'm pretty much the same person other than some of the new hair that I've gotten. And it's all went really fast. And if someone would have grabbed me when I was 19 and told me the secrets to being rich, I wouldn't have listened anyway. But I'm really hoping that some of you do, because I'm going to give you all of Gary Keller's secrets on getting rich. I am going to tell you the models. That's what we're going to do today. And so before we do it, I'd love to know your opinion on percentages of your money reason rental index funds is right now. Adrian, I'm going to answer. But I'm going to do it in a roundabout way. Here's what I want to tell you. I want to get really clear on the wealthy and then what it is that we do here and then how you go about getting wealthy. But before I start, I have to address the elephant in the room, which is those of you that have chosen not to be wealthy. That's okay. I'm not saying that money is the end all, and it's certainly not the most important thing in life. However, for the rest of this call, we're going to discuss it like it is. So if you don't like capitalism or making money, you should go do something else. And I'm totally fine with that. Because I agree with you that we get a lot of stuff out of work. We get camaraderie and a team of great people and a sense of self-worth, and we get entertainment. But all that without money is no good. Because in life, when you have a problem and you have the money to solve it, you face a trivial problem. But lacking that money makes even the smallest of life's problems the biggest of life's problems. And there's two groups of people on this call. There's group number one, who are like, should I join another country club? Should I buy another beach house? And then there's group number two, which is like, I have no idea how I'm going to make my Tahoe payment next month. I just want you to be clear. We talk a lot about culture at Keller Williams, but it's possible to ask each of those people what they think of our culture and get wildly different answers. Because if you're one of the people that doesn't know how you're going to make your payments next month, I promise you, you don't think our culture is all the bee's knees. I just want to go right at it. No one should get left behind. And there is a freedom that I want for each and every one of you. And if you don't want this, then again, you should go do something else because this call is going to be boring to you. I want you to wake up on the first of every single month with all of your bills already paid to live the life you want to live before you go to work. That's the goal for me. That's what I'm into. That's my thing. And here's the reason. The minute that happened for me, everything changed. I felt a freedom that I cannot decide how to define. It was just like nothing I had ever felt before. I had hit other financial goals leading up to that. Like I remember when I was younger, I was like, when I have $1 million in cash, then blank. I remember having $1 million in cash. Then I remember waking up and being the exact same. I remember that. I remember when it was, I'm going to have X amount of dollars that comes in, but for no reason, felt the exact same. The minute that I woke up and the life that I wanted to live was financed through passive income, that's when everything changed. And by the way, I started working harder after that. And I don't know why, I'm a weirdo. As soon as I wasn't working for money, I enjoyed working a lot. And I've made more money working than I ever did when I was working for money. So when you hear people say, I don't work for money, and you're like, well, I do, those person's an idiot. What they really mean is, I don't have to work. I choose to because I'm mission driven. There's the preamble. So how do we do it? Well, it's really easy. But before I tell you, we have to talk about money, and we have to do it in a weird way, because I'm not on the face pages or the Insta Twitters or the tickety talks, but twice a year I activate my Facebook account and I come out of retirement. I do that for family reunion and mega camp. And we got mega camp coming up. And so I'm about to come out of retirement. But I want to tell you what happened to me when I came out of cold storage for family reunion. I simply logged in, and then I was scrolling through the face pages, and I was looking at the MySpace, and I was amazed. And here's what it's probably different than your experience. My feed, everyone was rich looking. Every realtor was rich, and a real estate coach, of course. They were rich and owned a coaching company. It was unbelievable. Hadn't mattered who they were as a human, but they owned a coaching company and they were rich. It was wild. Realtors in front of jets. I found one realtor who had created a Facebook page for their house, just so everyone knew they owned one. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable. And I was blown away. And so the cool thing about being the head of industry and learning for the largest real estate company the world's ever known is that I have a whole research department, and I pretty much can go and ask for anything. And so I did. I said, hey, it looks like everyone's rich. Are they? No. And the research department said, do you want us to hire investigators and follow these people around? I said, no. I just want to understand money. How many rich people are there? And then they said, well, it depends how you want to define it. And I said, well, you tell me. And here's what we came up with. Here's what rich means. And by the way, we gave a really light definition. We defined it as people that have at least $1 million in investable cash, excluding the equity in their home and the value of any collectibles. So you cannot count your Beanie Baby collection. And we said, well, gosh, there's got to be a lot of those people. There isn't. There's 22.5 million of them in the entire world. That's the number. Write it down. 22.5 million. There's, like, by the way, almost 8 billion people in the world. So there's not a lot of rich people. So I just want you to know, when you scroll through Facebook tonight, none of them are rich, because math. They're not. You start calling them. I promise you they're not rich. Now you know the secret. And by the way, the ones that say, I sold 17,000 homes last year, they're not rich either, it turns out, because math. Now, some of them are, and that's great. The majority aren't. So now that we know none of that is true, it'll completely change the way that you look at Facebook tonight. But Facebook is designed to make sure you forget the facts really, really quickly. And so I want you to write down, no one's rich. Because statistically speaking, 22.5 million out of 8 billion is no one. Great. Now that we get there, you're probably a lot like me and said, well, let's go a shade deeper, Jason. Of these 22.5 million, where are all these people? Well, I'll tell you, a third of them, live in the United States of America. Regardless of what you think of the country or how it's being run, a third of them are still here. Warren Buffett calls this winning the ovarian lottery. He says that if you've been born or somehow made it to the United States, you've won. And that's what he's using to base that on. That means that 2/3 live in everywhere else on the planet. So anytime you see someone from another country lecturing us on how to make money, as math, I want you to keep it in your mind. Oh, but it's so great in Denmark. Great. I just want you to keep it in your mind. Perfect. So now we understand. But if you wanted to go a shade deep, here's what you'd find. You'd say, Jason, I want to know how the rich make their money. That's what I want to know. I'm going to tell you the top 3 ways that the 22.5 million people have made their money. If I am you, I write it down, especially number 1, because of the one thing, the number 1 way that the rich make their money. Inheritance. It's so good. It's inheritance, which, by the way, is probably not as duplicatable or reliable as you'd like it to be. So those of you that are going to be inheriting large sums of money, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, I want to give you the model for that because they have done studies on this. Here's what the data shows. Your one thing is spending time with the rich person who's going to give it to you. That's the model. Specifically in the last 3 years of their life. You are 44% more likely to lose the inheritance during the last 3 years of the rich person's life. So, because math, don't get mad at me, your model should be wake up every day and hang out with that rich person. Now, I've been trying to get the Keller family to adopt me for 5 years now, but they like their son. So if you're not going to inherit money like I am, then you're going to want to move on to number two. Number two, owning a business. I wish it was something other than that. It isn't, which is really convenient since every one of us own one. It might be a business of one, you may have many, but owning a business is the number two way, which then leads to the number three way, which is real estate investment and speculation. Imagine number two and number three are the things we do. Friends, we are absolutely in the pole position. Now, if I would have said to you, the number two way is to be a supermodel, and the number three way is to own a company that helps people lose weight, I think it would get dark as 1,000 midnights in here. Fortunately for all of us, it isn't. It's owning a business that happens to be investing in real estate. We are in a good spot. Have you ever been in the right place at the right time in life and missed the opportunity? If you don't think you have, I just want to remind you, you all lived through Bitcoin. Every one of you could have bought it for nothing and sold it for 65,000, and we all missed. Now, there's always someone who's going to be like, I didn't miss. Love that journey for you. You do you, boo. The rest of us, we all missed. And what are the other ways? If you lived through 99 to 2001, you could have sold any of those tech stocks and made an absolute fortune. Every one of us could have bought gold at 600. It's at 1,400 an ounce now. You missed that. Any one of us could have went on the real estate roller coaster ride of valuations of the last 15 years. Is there anyone on this call that ever says something like, when rates were 2%, I should have bought more? Probably no one on this call. You missed it. You missed them all. I know, this sucks. This call sucks. We've all been at the right place at the right time so many times in our lives, and we've missed it. So what did the studies show? Why did we miss it? Well, number one, fear. It's the number one reason we miss things is because we're afraid of them. What drives fear? It's not understanding the opportunity. What drives not understanding it? Not having time to actually research it or not having the acumen to follow it. Said differently, you're all really busy living life and selling houses that going and learning about things like maybe Bitcoin didn't make any sense to you. And even if you had learned about it, you may have said something like, let me just make sure I understand this. There's these coins that don't exist that are held in places that I don't know about, created by people that don't shower. I'm not in. I could have respected that. But you still missed it. Right now, you are in the right place at the right time again. And it's the right time to do three things in order. And they're the three opportunities of the real estate industry. Number one, I have a sales career. I just want to be really clear. We sell stuff. The greatest stuff of all. Houses, which are awesome. We sell them. We sell them and dreams come true. And what do we get? Cash. We sell homes to make cash. By the way, if you're not selling homes to make cash, then you're selling something else to make cash, whether it's land, whether it's ranches, whether it's commercial real estate, whether it's syndication, whatever you're selling is to make cash. Great, that's what we do here. Number two, turn my sales career into a sales business. It's a second opportunity. And business doesn't mean team. It's not what it means. All business means is reliable income. That's what it means. Because I tell you what, I know a ton of teams. The people that own them don't make any money. No matter how many houses they sell. That's not to be offensive if you're one of those folks. I get it. You'll make some changes. It's about the reliability of the income stream. I know a bunch of people that are sole practitioners that make more money than anybody that owns a team, by the way. I also know a bunch of sole practitioners that surround themselves. They have 2 or 3 administrative people and they love their life. And they use those administrative people to make the lead gen reliable so they wake up every day and have listing appointments. I know agents that have hired Care Bears. Remember Care Bears? And then the rainbow? Yeah, them. They've hired people to just love on their database. So every day they have more leads. And all they have to do is go be like people do business with people they like. So number 2 is own a business, make it reliable. The third opportunity, invest in real estate. The reason that's the third opportunity and also happens to be the number 3 way that the richest people on the planet make their money is because real estate does 2 things. It appreciates and it throws off positive cash flow when you do it right. Every time I teach this, there's a group in the room that try to either discount everything I say, and you can't help yourself, I get it, or you think it's all too rudimentary for you. And by the way, if that's you, I want to urge you to open your mind a little bit today, because I'm going to give you Gary's method to doing it. This isn't like I made it up. And what would I know? I'm just a millionaire a couple times over. He's a billionaire. So when he tells you how to make money, believe it. Here's my journey. I've been at KW since I was 19. I'm 43 years old now. I sold a lot of houses. I hired Brett Tanner as my coach. In 4 years with him, I made about $5 million. And I don't talk about money often, but this is a class about money. And I kept it, which is the big difference between that and other times in my life. And I did it using a really easy model, and I want to give it to you. Here's how this goes. There is, I was going to make a slide deck, but I don't know how. So I use this instead. And so here's how this is. If you wake up every day and you know that you make money, the next question you have is, what do I do with it? And I want you to think about it like a giant Planko board. Remember Planko as a kid? You drop it in the top, it bounces around, it ends up in a cup. There's only 4 cups for every dollar you make. Cup number 1 is spend it. You're awesome at that. I love you guys. Cup number 2, give it away. You're awesome at that. Keller Williams gives more money to charity than any other real estate company ever. Number 3, save it, either in the freezer or under the mattress. Or you put it in a savings account, you get 5 points on it these days, which is great. Number 4, invest it. Everyone's like, I want to invest it, but I don't know how. This is how. So every dollar you make, you're putting through that Planko board of life. So if you look up and you say, I don't have enough money, it's because your Planko board ends in spending. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't spend. You have 2 choices. You either spend the same and make more money, or you make the same amount of money and spend less. Either way, the difference is what you invest. And you get to pick. Here's the thing about life. From what I can tell, in life, you get to pick your problem and then decide how you want to pay to solve it. Every problem in life is. Raise your hand if you have your camera on, if you have someone who cleans your house for you. Anyone on this call? Great. All of us picked our own problem then. Our problem is our own wretchedness. You can't live in a space without turning it gross. It's amazing. I have the same issue. Number 2, how do you want to pay to solve it? Those of you that raised your hand, you said, I want to pay someone else to clean it up. Those of you that didn't, you said, I want to pay for it with my own time and expertise. That's it. That's everything in life. Those of you that have decided to have hair, you've chosen your problem. Now, how do you want to pay to solve it? You either go to a stylist or you buy a Flowbee. They're both great solutions. This is everything in life. You've decided to be in a sales business. If you don't like lead generating, is that, by the way, you chose that as a problem. I'm in a people business, which means I need to lead generate for people that want to buy and sell real estate. I have 2 choices. Either pay someone else to do it or do it myself with my own time and energy. That's it. If you're one of the people who knows that you need to do it, but you just don't, and every year your life stays in the same place, would you stop it already? Would you just simply face the fact that you have a choice to make? It's either do it or pay someone else, and then figure out how to pay someone else. That's it. You don't have to feel bad about it either. There's nothing to feel bad about. It's just choices. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good guys, there's no bad guys. There's no one that's more disciplined than anybody else. There's just people that understand the question and then decided how they wanted to pay for it. That's it. And just like some of you have decided to hire a maid and you've decided to hire a hairstylist, And then you decided, I'm not going to hire someone to help me lead generate. Okay, you drew that line. But the world didn't draw it for you. You drew it. You chose it. You can unchoose it. If you've chosen to not have any wealth, that's a choice. I'm going to beg you to unchoose it. Because here's what money does. All money does is give you more options. That's it. Everyone here is going to go on vacation once this year. Some of you are going to go into a station wagon, drive to a Red Roof Inn, and wow out. I love that, by the way. I'm not knocking it. That's how I used to travel. Some of you are going to get on a private jet that you own and go to your island, a la Brett Tanner. That's his choice. The only difference, he has more money, so he gets to make different choices. That's all it does. We're all going to drive in a car today. Some of you have one choice of a vehicle. Some of you can buy any car you want. Choices. That's all it does. It doesn't give you more taste, evidenced by the fact that look around at some rich people with the way they dress. It doesn't give you taste, just gives you choices. Great. So, how do we do it? Well, we decide that we want to have money. That's it. It's a choice. Once we decide, we need a model. And the reason we need a model is because everything that you want to accomplish in life that you don't have a model for doesn't work. And you say, well, that's not true, Jason. I don't have a model for relationships, but I managed to find someone to put up with me. I love that. That's called luck. 56% of the time it ends with them leaving you or you leaving them. That's probably also luck, said differently. So I don't know. I know that if you want it, you need a model. Because if you don't, you end up with a junk drawer. And a junk drawer is, I own a couple of houses, I got a little savings in a cash account somewhere, I keep this thing under my bed, and I may inherit some. That's a junk drawer of investment. It's not wrong. Most people start with a junk drawer and then wake up and decide to make a change. There's this old saying that you have two lives. The one that you live, and then the one that you live after you realize you only have one. There it is. So wake up. Now let's go through the actual list and I'll give you the model. The model is this. Number one, avatar. I'm going to walk you through what these are. Number two, location. Number three, business model. Number four, deal flow. And I'm going to hit all of these. And if someone's a typer, put it in the chat. Avatar, location, business model, deal flow. Cool. So how does this work? Avatar simply means the type of thing I want to buy. And remember, we're only buying things that go up in value and throw off positive cash flow. That's it. The type of thing I want to buy. Okay, how do we determine what it is we want to buy? We got to build our avatar. Hang on, I'm going to mute. Can someone mute Felicia? Thanks. I'm going to tell you how to build your avatar. And it starts not with the real estate. It starts with you. What type of stuff do you want to deal with in your life? And it's really very, very easy. Here's how you do it. You're going to draw two lines. And by the way, some of you are going to say, I've seen you draw this before. Great. If your life isn't remarkably improved since the last time you saw it, then you're doing it wrong. And what an opportunity for you. Number one, profit. That's a P. 0, 10. 10 means the most profitable. 0 means I make no money. Number two, D for decibel level. Decibel means loud. How loud is it? 0, I never hear about it. 10, it's the loudest thing in the world. If someone is in your office 3 times a week crying, it's a 10. I call that a real estate team. If no one, you never talk to anybody, someone always smiles at that. And by the way, if you're the one laughing, I feel you. I know where you are. I've had that for a lot of my years. And people are like, well, no one ever cries on my team. You just don't have enough people then. You just keep growing. It's coming your way. So cool. So how do these things inform each other? It depends where you are in life. So when I was in my 20s, I wanted nothing but home runs, and I didn't care how noisy it was. I've mellowed a little bit with age. And so here's where I'm at in my life right now. I can handle about a 3 when it comes to noise. Tops. I tell you what, if it's more than a 3, I'd rather just not do it. I just can't. And that's because of the choices I've made in life. I got a full-time job. I got this guy with a mustache. He's pretty demanding. He's my boss. I got to report to him every day. And if you think your boss is a little demanding, I just want to tell you, I'm not going to tell you. But let me just tell you, I'm at a 3. I don't have a lot of extra time. So for me, that means I can't invest in stuff no matter how much money it makes if it's louder than a 3. So people say, well, why don't you buy residential real estate? I can't, too loud. At one point, I owned 100 houses. Every day, somebody called me with a problem. They were all problems I had no patience to hear them. And here's how I knew when I reached my limit. I got a phone call one morning, and this person's, by the way, a lovely lady and her daughter, like lived as a rental tenant of mine for a decade. She called and said, there's a leak in the master bedroom. And I said, move your bed. And then I realized what I said and was like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Let me get some. And I hung up and I was like, I'm done with this business. I can't honor this person. I can't live up to the responsibilities. I can't do it. I'm going to just get all the noise to go away and I'm going to hire a management company. And then I did that. And then I hired 7 more because they're all average. If you own one, yours is probably the exception. I just happen to have terrible luck. But none of them treated my properties like their properties. And I watched my returns hit the skids. And so for me, I got to be here. By the way, there's very few things that are a 3 that offer you a 10 in profit. So because this is where I'm drawing the line in my life, this is pretty much the profit that I'm living in. And anything that happens in this quadrant, I'm good. Well, I got to tell you, friends, that takes out a whole bunch of the types of things that other people like to invest in. I can't buy single property houses. Multifamily would be even louder, so I can't buy that. Development deals are really tough for me because I can't deal with cities because I think doesn't matter what I think about them. I'm sure they're all great for y'all. I've had trouble with them in the past. And I can't do college housing because I owned one once and they filled the entire first floor with sand and had a beach party. It was amazing. I can't. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I can't buy. So what can I buy? Well, for me, my avatar, I like to buy large buildings between 75,000 and 150,000 square feet where people show up every day to make stuff with their hands. That's what I like. I like manufacturing. It's boring stuff. I own a bunch of smaller manufacturing, but right now, that's perfect for me. Number 1, people come to work because you can't make stuff with your hands from home. Number 2, they're all triple net leases. So all I got to do is handle the roof or the driveway, and even I can do that. That's it. That's why I choose that. Different points in your life will govern this. So I just want everyone right now, draw these 2 and write it down for you. And just circle where you are at this point in your life. Once you know that, we can start building out avatar. There's a million different avatars. There's single family houses, there's duplexes, there's tribe. I'm not going to go through all of them. I will tell you that I think there's 2 opportunities right now nationwide that very, very few people are looking at. Number 1, manufacturing. I think it's because it's boring and people can't get rich quick. It's an incredible way to make an awful lot of money. And I also don't understand the future of office space. You probably do. I don't. I'm still trying to understand it with work from home and COVID. I like places where people have machines that they have to go to make stuff. Number 2, I think that you have a ton of investors in the single family space, but very, very few that are focused on duplexes, triplexes, and quads. And I think there's a ton of money to be made there. And the advantage to it is because you can get residential loan products on what ultimately is multifamily assets. I think that's very, very, very unique. The third reason I like that asset class so much right now is because they're majority held by uneducated investors. Meaning the person that woke up and decided to go buy a duplex. It turns out, you won't believe me, they have no idea what they're doing. And so there's a real opportunity right there if you do know what you're doing. And so here's what I would do if you are into those things. Number 1, I'd go pull all the tax records for all the multifamily that fits. Step two, I then sort them by the number of times the same owner's name pops up. So I want to see who owns 60 of these things, then who owns 30 of them, then who owns 10. Here's what you're going to find. There's a small group that own a lot. Then there's a bunch that own 2 or 3. Then there's this amazing amount that own 1. Everybody that owns 1, they get a postcard and an email from me. Everyone that owns more than 1, those are the people that I personally call in a TCPA compliant way. And let me just tell you, if you go set up a business that's not TCPA compliant, or you're running one and you don't think you're going to get caught, you're an idiot, and you're going to get caught. And there's an entire cottage industry that pretty much emanates out of Florida, if you look at the law firms that are going after real estate agents who are doing the wrong thing. So please, if you're going to build a business, build a legal one. That's avatar. Next is location. If you decide that you will do business anywhere, you will end up doing very little business. Mainly because there's nuance in every single city. If I said to you that in North Scottsdale, which by the way is one of the hottest markets in the country, right now there's an 11-acre parcel that I can get for you for $1.5 million. It's an unincorporated piece of property. And once you work with the city to incorporate it, it'll probably be worth somewhere between 10 and 15 million. You might say, I'm in. What you wouldn't know is that you'd be the 9th investor to take that deal. How do I know? I was number 6. I know. There's no scenario where the city is ever going to let it be incorporated. Everyone just, it's like hot potato with this thing. And everyone that comes to Scottsdale on vacation buys it. I know, because that's what happened to me. I didn't understand the location. You got to decide where you're going to do business. Gary Keller has made $50 million in one zip code. And it's not because he's got a lot of money. It's because he understands the values in that zip code and he knows the deals. And he was making money there before he ever had money. So you've got to decide where you're going to do this. The next one, business model. And I want to debunk this. I'm going to give it to you right now. If you're a note taker, write it down. All our business model is number one, what do I pay for? How much is it? Number two, what are my monthly expenses? Number three, how much cash does it bring in every month? Then all you do is addition and subtraction. And that's it. If the number is positive, that's good. If it's negative, it's no good. If it just breaks even, that's no good either, because life happens. That's it. So anyone else that tells you got to buy their 19-week course to understand how to analyze deals, looks at cap rate, they're just trying to sell you something. You don't need any of that. You just need to know how to add and subtract. That's it. That's it. Here's what happens if you don't know your model. If you don't know your model, every single deal that comes your way, you agonize over it emotionally. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Is it in the right area? Is it not in the right area? What's the highest use? Will it improve my life? It's exhausting. And if you think that stress is the silent killer, I just want to tell you, it's the loudest killer. You don't think everyone around you knows when you're stressed? Everyone knows. This process of analyzing every deal as if it's unique will make anybody crazy. They're not unique. They're just not. The way you may buy them is unique, but there's nothing unique about them. Now, I know there's a group here saying, none of this applies to me because I don't have any money. How do I start this with no money? By the way, that's not your problem. I'll prove it to you. If I gave you $1 million today, and the only caveat was you had to go buy an investment property that was going to yield me at least a 20% return, you know what you would say? I don't have that property. And I'd say, then your problem wasn't the million. The problem is you don't have anything good to buy. Because if you did, it wouldn't be hard to find someone to do it with you. Matter of fact, I can look at the faces on this call. Y'all could team up in a heartbeat and make an investment club and have plenty of money. It's because you don't have deal flow. That's your problem. It's not your money. By the way, the first person who says, how do I buy homes for no money? Don't be the one that asks, but I'm going to just tell you the answer. On this side of life, there's the weakest form of controlling an asset. It's called a listing agreement. All it does is let you market somebody else's title. That's it. You control the home minimally. On this side is owning something for cash. That's the highest form of control. The only thing that supersedes you are property taxes, hashtag government, and they love you. Perfect. In the middle is owning a property with a mortgage. Most of you live there. There's a million other ways in between. There's partnering with current homeowners and taking a piece of the deal for you to manage it. There's other people that want to invest that if you find the deal, they're happy to let you take a piece of the equity and go along for the ride. There's people that will give you money. You know, Brett Tanner, who runs the wealth company here, the wealth division at KW, he made all of his money by finding one person who had $3 million. And that person said, if you can find me properties that fits into this, and this person knew theirs, I'll let you go along for the ride. Brett did that right up until he had enough money to say to the person, I'm no longer looking for properties for you. Instead, I'm using my own capital. Best wishes. True story. Any one of us could do it. By the way, any of you that are running a database right now, you could just simply send a survey, use SurveyMonkey, and send it to everyone in your database and only ask them 3 questions. How many of you would like to buy an investment piece of real estate that throws off positive cash? Yes or no? Number 2, if I found one under market value, would you buy it this year? Number 3, do you want me to call you if I find that piece of real estate? Friends, if that's all you did, you would have a bunch of people in your database raise their hand. And then you wouldn't be asking, how do I buy homes with no money? You'd go sell them homes that fit their model, and you'd have a bunch of money. We sell stuff. That's it. Deal flow. Deal flow means how many deals do I get to look at each week that fit my avatar, that are within the location I've decided to do business, that may fit my business model. That's it. Elena, number 3 was, do you want me to call you if I find that property? That's all deal flow is. So the person that looks at one deal a year, they don't have deal flow. They end up buying a bad deal. This is what Gary told me. Gary said, the key to me is that I have deal flow. Every day we get, this is going to come as a surprise to you. Every day, real estate agents from all around the world send Gary an email that say, Gary, you totally have to buy this property. Every single day, all day long. It's amazing. As if he can buy every property on the planet. We get them all day. This right here. Okay, let's repeat the questions because we're getting, it's number 1, do you want to buy a piece of property, investment property, that throws off positive cash flow? Yes or no? It's just a survey, yes or no? Number 2, if I found you a property for under market value that throws off positive cash flow, would you buy it this year? The reason you're asking that is because if they're not willing to buy this year, you don't have time to talk to them. Number 3, if I find the property that fits, do you want me to call you? That's the opt-in. If you did that for everyone in your database, what you'd have is a ton of people that want to buy investment real estate. At the very least, you'd call them all and say, well, what type of real estate do you want to buy? You know what they would say? No idea. The one that throws off the positive cash flow thing. What do you mean? And you'd say, great, well, there's a lot of property that will. Let's create your avatar. Where do you want to do this, by the way? Well, I don't know. Where do you think I should do it? Well, let's talk about you. How much now, are you paying cash or do you want to finance it? Well, I don't have any cash. Great, let's get you in touch with my lender. Or yeah, I'm paying cash. Great, how much cash do you want to invest? All you'd be doing is this process, the same one you're going to go do, you'd be doing it for every person in your database that wants to invest. And some of you are saying, but I don't have any property that are under market value. That's because you don't have any deal flow. You know how I know? Because people buy property under market value all day long. So how do you create deal flow? You're going to have to lead generate. Well, I don't want to. Great. Then you're going to have to hire someone to do it. It's easy. Those are your only 2 choices. So how do you lead generate for this? It's 3 things. Number one, it's through the mail. And you're like, well, what's the messaging? It just says, I want to buy your house. Call me if you want to sell it. That's it. You don't have to dress it up any more than that. That's all we're doing here. Then number two, it's either text/phone in a TCPA friendly and compliant way. And I always use text/phone because right now, the people that are doing it at the highest level, they're using text message. Are you interested in receiving a cash offer on your house today? And anyone that says yes, they're using that to get on the phone. So they're not calling thousands of people, they're limiting the number of people. And here's the number one complaint from consumers that are working with investors right now who are saying that they want to make them an offer. It's that they promise them a cash offer, but then there isn't one. Instead, it's this endless process. Well, tell me about your property, and let's go through 3 different people, and that gets you to the point where I come out and take a look. You can't do that. People just want to know a range. I talked to an agent the other day who told me that the number one thing they do is anybody that they talk to, they use Zillow. They just get the Zestimate for the house. Then they say 60 to 70% of that number as a range. Would you be willing to take 60 to, let's just say it was 100 grand. They then say, I'd be in the ballpark of 60 to 70,000. I'd have to tighten that up after seeing it. Would that be anything you're interested in? If they say no, it's no problem. If they say yes, can I come over in an hour? You don't have to overcomplicate this thing. It's easy. Number 3, if you wanted to go this route, would be radio and TV. That's all We Buy Ugly Houses is. It's just radio and TV when it was in its heyday. That's it. That will create deal flow. And if you're sitting here and you're like, well, I don't have the money to do that. Great. Everyone has the money to do number 2. You just do it yourself. Remember, you get to pick how you solve the problem, how you pay for it. Or you could partner and do this. Everyone can do it. Once you have deal flow, friends, you are absolutely in the catbird seat. And here's the deal. You're trying to buy enough property that produce enough positive cash flow based on your model so that you wake up on the first of every month and everything is taken care of in your life, no matter what life you want to live. That's wealth. It's not, I need to make $10 million. It's, I want to wake up and whatever lifestyle I want to live. Now, here's the danger with people. As soon as you start making money, you raise your lifestyle. Okay, cool. All that means is you're going to have to buy more. That's what it means. You're going to have to invest. And remember the Planko board. Every time a dollar comes in, boom, you're either spending it, giving it away, saving it, or investing it. This is the key to investing it. Any questions on this? Anyone at all? Cool. Well, then
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for spending time with us. You're wonderful. You're one of the few people I've seen this way, and really, I love it. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm wondering, do you offer coaching on the side, or is this something you're doing just for us? I'm just curious if this is something that you do.
Yeah, we're actually kicking off a course. So a lot of these models are Gary's, Brett Tanner's, King's. We have this 8 weeks to wealth thing that's about to kick off, and I'm going to tell you about it in a minute.
Okay.
We literally spend 8 weeks going through each one of these things and helping everyone that does it create it. It's $395 for the 8 weeks. And I think if you sign up today, you get a discount code with us. So it's like $37 a call. This is the pace of the call. This is the speed of it. This is what we're covering. The only difference is we're going to spend a full week on tax strategies so that the money you make, you don't give to the government. And we're going to spend a call on setting up the lead generation side. There's also a slide deck and a workbook for each call. So we record them all. So it's live. We do them during the evening. If you work during the day and you want to do it, it's Tuesday nights. We also do it during the day on Wednesday. The link is in the chat right now if you want to do it. It's 10% off today. It's $395 for the 8 weeks minus 10%. Everyone in that course gets access to us personally, and I'll prove it. I'm going to give you my cell phone number right now. It's 299-0805. My email is jason@kw.com. You also get access into our private Facebook group where all we do is talk about wealth. And I want to give a warning on this. This really isn't for everybody. If you're into like mindset and all of that good stuff, this probably isn't for you. This is hardcore rich. I want to make more money. We're not going to talk about living a bigger life, although that's important. We're not going to talk about how you should feel about it. No one's going to tell you to wake up at 4 a.m. and meditate, although I'm sure that journey is great for other folks. We're going to talk about just how to make more money and how to pay less taxes. And it's not going to be, no one's ever going to ask you how you feel about it. They're models. Don't care how you feel about it. Like, if you want to go pay more taxes, go. If you want to pay less, come. If you want to go operate without a model, go. If you want to get a model and then live it, come. That's it. Yeah, 8 Weeks to Wealth with Brett Tanner and Mark King. I want to share one more thing. How much time do we have here?
We still got 10 minutes. We're good.
We got 10 minutes. I want to share one more thing with you guys that absolutely changed my life. And it became the basis. I have it hanging on my wall right now. And we dig into it deeply in this course, which is most people have no idea how to structure their money. And they go hire an estate planner and they have absolutely no idea what the estate planner does. And they have no idea why it works. Here's how this goes. And by the way, if you say that's not how I do it, great. I'm only showing you how Gary does it, so who knows. This thing here, this is called a wealth coordination account, which I don't know how to spell. So someone put it in the chat. Wealth coordination account. That's what it is. From your wealth coordination account, a couple of things happen. Number one, you consume stuff. This box right here, this is where you pay all of your household bills. Call it family checking. I call it consumption. I consume out of this box. And it's not my budget. It's how much I actually consume. Write down your number. I'm just going to pick a round number and say 15,000 a month is what I consume. Great. This right here, this is called safe. This is if God forbid something terrible should happen to you, you need a safety net. For me, I do 6 times my burn rate. So this is burn rate. This is safe. It's 6x my burn rate. By the way, that should change during your life. When I was in my early 20s, it was 0. Once I had a kid, I was like, I should have a month. Now I'm a little bit older. I got a little more stuff, a little more wealth. It's 6 months. So cool. Now I know what I need to live. Now I know what I need my safety net to be. Here's the next thing. Over here, you simply go and you list every single way that you make money. I don't care what it is. Some of you will have a rental property. You're all realtors, so you all probably own coaching companies. So you'll have that there. You'll do however you make money. You put it there. A bunch of you will say, I have an LLC for my real estate business, which you all should. Any way you make money. We did this a couple of months ago. He had like 240 of these things, all different ways. I have a lot of real estate, so I got a lot of these boxes too. However many you have is however many you have. The only other thing you need is this thing, which is called IRS. There's 3 strategies for that. You either pay as much as you can, as little as you can, or you keep a go bag packed so that you can leave the country if need be. All 3 models work. Wish you the best. Mine is pay as little as I can, which means I have to know a lot about the tax code, which is why I teach it. Keller Williams Legal would like me to remind you that I'm not an accountant, nor should you take anything that we say today seriously or as investment advice. On this side, you pick the amount of money that you want to have here. For me, I just know 45 cents of every dollar is going to be my worst case. My goal is to get it to 0 every year. I use 7 different strategies to get it to 0. We cover all that in 8 Weeks to Wealth. And now here's how this whole game works. You now have the entire thing drawn for your life. Every time you make $1 in any of these things, you sweep it and put it in here, minus any operating money that you choose to keep here. So if I'm a coach and I'm selling air, I don't need to keep any operating money there because I'm not operating. But if I am running a real estate team that has costs like salaries and people, I got to keep some money in there. If I'm running some houses, I might have to keep some money in there. So every dollar comes in and drops in here. Now, here's what naturally happens. This thing every month fills up, and then every month depletes. It's just what this does. Think of it like lungs. It just breathes every month. This thing fills up and it stays filled. And here's the key to keeping it filled. If you're in a relationship with anybody else, you and your significant other have to agree on what emergency uses are. If you don't, you'll convince each other there's an emergency. We haven't been to Disney in years. That's not an emergency. It's insane. You have to agree on what an emergency is. I'm so burnt out because I've been working almost 6 full hours every day. We need a vacation. Trust me, it's an emergency. That's not what I have in mind. You got to define it, though, or you'll convince yourself you have it. Once that happens, here's what naturally will occur. This thing every month starts to fill up. And the more of these you have, as you go buy more property that throws off cash flow, the faster it fills. And you'll say, well, great, what the hell do I do with it? One of the number one reasons that people don't get rich is because they feel the need to stay liquid and visit their money. That's dumb. This is what you want, more of these. And so here's how you know when to go spend. The class is called 8 Weeks to Wealth. Joy, put it in the chat. Someone's asking. Here's how this goes. Once you know your avatar, your location, and your business model, you'll know how much cash it takes to go acquire the next asset. So if you say to me, Jason, I'm going to buy residential property in this area, and I found a lender that for 20% down, I'm good, and the houses cost $100,000, using a round number, great. Then as soon as yours gets to $20,000, you better have yourself a deal. Spend it, get the asset, and then rebuild to 20, and then spend it. Because remember, these things are already happening. You no longer have to worry. Some of you are going to want to go buy a commercial building because we don't just sell houses at Keller Williams. You may need to get to 200K. Great. Do you? Some of you will say, I don't have any money at all. And so I'm simply going to help other investors buy homes for a while and build this. Great. And so at the end of the day, as this goes, you now never have to be confused about money. No one in your life ever has to be confused about money. Anytime you have a debate at home about money, which is the number one things people talk about, you just pull this out and you say, okay, did you forget the plan or did I? And they're going to say, I hate you. And I love that. I have this, again, hanging on my wall. Every week on my calendar, Thursdays at 4:00, I spend a half hour updating this. And if I go too many weeks without adding anything here, the people around me are in for a hell of a bad time. And here's the reason why. Everyone around me knows exactly what it is that I'm trying to build. And if you're not conspiring to help me build it, I don't need you around me. And that sort of clarity makes everybody my partner. And if you don't have that sort of clarity, now we got a problem. An estate plan isn't 80 pages. It's this. And then it's giving it to an attorney to go write the 80 pages to protect the hell out. Guys, the course is 8 Weeks to Wealth. It's $395 minus 10% if you sign up today using the discount code. Joy, put that in the chat. Here's my advice. If you're going to do this, bring your significant other. I think it's crazy if you don't go on that journey. If you have young people in your life, bring them too, so they get something out of it. Some of the language is usually a little colorful, but don't worry, we'll do our best. Number 3, if you have clients that want to invest, get them into this thing and let us teach them about all of this, because you are their only access to deal flow. That's it. They need you. If they understood this and thought of you as the person that fills this to them, y'all would have so many customers you wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. Joy, come off of mute. Let's answer questions. When does this thing start, Joy?
Tuesday, June 27th for the nighttime class, which is also my birthday, and June 28th for the daytime class.
That's fantastic. Barbie, I see your direct message to me. Email me at jason@kw.com and we'll get you the info. When you join, are the classes at night both live? Yeah, everything is live. We also record everything, and that goes into an archive, and you can watch them all in real time. There's a workbook that comes with every single class that we do, and there's a Facebook group to get extra help because there's going to be a little bit of homework. Here's the only complaints I've heard from people that take it. You went too fast, and you didn't talk enough about mindset. That was the feedback we got. Here's my commitment. We're going to slow down this time, and anybody that has a question, you all know how to reach us. And number two, we're not going to talk about mindset. Okay, what else? Anybody else? What time at night? It's 7 p.m. Central. Thank you, Gabby, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. And Joy, what time is it during the day?
2.
2 p.m. So it's either 7 p.m. Central on Tuesdays or 2 p.m. on Wednesdays. Friends, the discount code, which is, what's the discount code, Joy?
Region 10.
It's good today.
There is a coupon code field when you go to sign up.
Region 10. Do they write the number 10 or they just write 10?
It's 10. Region 10.
Will you cover the assignment deals? Yeah, we're going to spend a lot of, because here's the deal. Wholesaling and assigning property. Once you have deal flow, every deal you do falls into 3 buckets. You want to buy it. You don't want to buy it, but you want to assign it to somebody else. You want to just list it. We're going to cover those things relatively deeply. You offer this class, I'll be out of the country by August. You can log in from anywhere in the world. It's digital, so that shouldn't be.
And you have access for 60 days past the last class.
To go back and watch the videos?
Yeah.
Love that. Anybody else? Friends, that was the fastest hour in real estate. Woo! You guys are awesome. The absolute best part of Keller Williams. Thank you for being at our brokerage house. We know you can go work anywhere. I can't tell you how grateful we are that you're here, seeing as it relates to my bonus. So fantastic. Thank you all. No one gets left behind. If you have issues, email me, jason@kw.com. If you need me, text me, call me, 480-299-0805. If you were offended by anything you heard, you don't have to email my boss. You can just email me directly, because I know that happens every time I speak. I just care a lot. I don't want anyone to get left behind. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys.